Yo, what's good everyone? Today I'm going to be breaking down some of my favorite NHL DFS picks and a couple of my favorite NHL prize picks for today's 8-game slate on Tuesday, February 20th. Let's get right into it. And we're going to kick things off here like we always do, highlighting the 8 games on this slate, showing you the money lines and over-unders. First set of games here, we got the Senators at Panthers, Stars at Rangers, Devils at Capitals, and the New York Islanders taking on the Pittsburgh Penguins. Next set of games here, we got the Wild at Jets, Canucks at Avalanche, Predators at Golden Knights, and the Columbus Blue Jackets taking on the Los Angeles Kings. And then here's a schedule update for this week. NHL DFS video here today, tomorrow, and Thursday. Looking to get in the Discord on Friday as well, talking about that 3-game slate. If you haven't joined the Discord yet, it is completely free to do so. Link in the description below to join that. If you can't find that link, just leave me a comment here, and I'll send you an invite there. With all that said, let's dive into a couple of line stacks that I like here for tonight. Starting with that first line for the Florida Panthers, we got Barkov centering Reinhart and Verhaeghe. Now, this line has played the last 4 games together where they've combined for 7 goals, 8 assists, 15 points. Florida has just shuffled their lines a little bit as of late, but I love the correlation and upside that we get with these 3 here, especially with all of them playing up on the Panthers' #1 power play, and a great matchup here at home tonight against the Ottawa Senators, who've allowed 3.58 goals per game this year, the 3rd most in the NHL, while having the 3rd worst penalty kill, hitting at just a 74% rate. That's why I love this line stack here, all being up on that #1 power play, because the Panthers have the 6th best power play in the NHL, scoring at a 26.5% rate. And then a cheaper line stack that I like here tonight is that second line for the Los Angeles Kings. We got Danault centering Arvidsson and Trevor Moore, really the OG Kings second line. They're finally back together now that Arvidsson is off the IR, and we're seeing him up on that #1 power play for the Kings right now, while Moore and Danault play down on the 2nd power play. But again, just like the Panthers, they have a great matchup at home here tonight against the Columbus Blue Jackets, a team that's allowed 3.70 goals per game this year, the 2nd most in the NHL, while having the 7th worst penalty kill, hitting at just a 76% rate. Now, folks, before we dive into some of my favorite individual plays here, if you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. Help build the SlyDog Sports brand. That really means a lot to me, and I'm going to have hockey content coming out for you guys throughout the remainder of the season. Now, diving into some of my favorite individual plays here, I've changed things up just a little bit here for today. We'll see how everyone reacts to this, but I wanted to kind of condense this video here, give you all my picks up front when it comes to the forwards and defensemen. So let me show you what I got here. I'm going to highlight all 5 forwards that I like today, starting with Nathan MacKinnon at the top at $10,000. Guy has been on fire as of late. 9 goals, 9 assists, 18 points in his last 10 games, 50 shots on net, averaging close to 24 Draftkings points per game, and he actually has a point in every single home game this year. In 26 home games, he's racked up 22 goals, 33 assists, 55 points. Getting the Canucks team on back-to-backs tonight after playing in Minnesota last night was just a crazy high-scoring game there, and we always know that Mac's going to play up on that first line in #1 power play. The next 2 guys that I got here are Nico Hischier and Tyler Toffoli. I like the Devils tonight in general, but I thought both these guys were offering some nice cash value, and you can play them in tournaments as well. You can see both their numbers really solid as of late. Love the way that both guys are shooting the puck, and a good matchup here against the Washington Capitals. We're going to see Nico play up on the first line in #1 power play. Toffoli plays down on the second line with Jack Hughes, but he's also up on the #1 power play. And then I got 2 guys there in the 4K range, and actually the 4 position is offering some really nice value in general here tonight. First guy is Sean Monahan, who's playing some good hockey as of late. 6 goals, 5 assists, 11 points in his last 10, averaging 14.3 DraftKings points per game. But I really like that he started to find his groove here with the Jets. Actually just scored a hat-trick yesterday against his former team in the Calgary Flames. He's now got 4 goals here in his last 2 games. He's centering that second line and playing up on the Jets' #1 power play, which I think we could target here tonight because Minnesota's penalty kill has been bad all year long, ranking 28th in the NHL, hitting at a 75% rate. Now, Rickard Rakell here, really cheap at $4,200. Hasn't been fantastic as of late, but now that Jake Gensel is on the IR, we're seeing him back up on that first line in #1 power play with Crosby. So in his last 2 games here, he's hit 13 and 17.4 DraftKings points. That's the value I'm looking for out of him. And while the Penguins' power play has not been very good this year, it is worth noting noting that the Islanders have the worst penalty kill in the NHL, hitting at just a 70.7% rate. Now, moving on to the defensemen here, and I have no problem spending up for guys like Cale Makar tonight, but I think there's a lot of value here in the 4 to 5K range, highlighting those guys that I like here tonight, starting with Brandon Montour at $5,000, starting to get a little more offensive, kind of the guy that we watched all year long. 2 goals, 4 assists, 6 points, and 28 shots on net here in his last 10, averaging 12 Draftkings points per game. I think he makes for an easy stack up on that Panthers #1 power play, again, against a bad Senators penalty kill that's hit at just a 74% rate this year, and this is also someone who logs big minutes, playing 23 minutes a night. Now, I do expect Miro Heiskanen to be back for the Dallas Stars tonight, but Thomas Harley has been awesome as of late. 5 goals, 6 assists, 30 shots on net, and 24 block shots in his last 10 games, averaging 16.5 Draftkings points per game, just crushing value. Now, this is a tough road game here against the New York Rangers, but Thomas Harley's hot right now. When you're hot in hockey, it's hard to ignore that. He plays around 22 minutes a game on the Stars' #2 power play and their penalty kill. And then when it comes to value defensemen tonight, I really like Brandt Clarke here of the Los Angeles Kings. 1 goal, 3 assists, 20 shots on net here in his first 9 games in the NHL this season. He hasn't played 10 quite yet in 2023-2024, averaging 9.3 Draftkings points per game. Just like Brandon Montour, he's an easy stack with that Kings second line that I highlighted earlier against a bad Blue Jackets penalty kill. He doesn't log huge minutes, but he's super gifted offensively, playing around 15 minutes a night. And then if you're looking to save some money here at the defenseman position, Bowen Byram stuck out to me. He's really played well here in his last 3 games, where he's had 2 goals, 4 assists, 6 points in those 3 games. Someone who plays around 18 minutes a game, doesn't have an official spot on the #2 power play, but does mix in there and plays on the penalty kill too. And then I got a couple of goaltenders here for you guys, and if I'm looking to spend up tonight, I like Sergei Bobrovsky of the Florida Panthers. You can see his season stats there, but let's highlight his last 10 games, where he's gone 7-1-1. Yes, that's only 9 games, I understand that. He did get pulled against Minnesota, but really an outlier for how good he's been this year. You can see there a save percentage of .922, goals allowed average of 2.28, averaging 16 Draftkings points per game. Now, the Sens are playing on back-to-back nights here on the road, so I like the matchup for Florida in general, and this Sens team is not afraid to shoot the puck either, averaging close to 33 shots on net per game this year, the 8th most in the NHL. Now, if I'm looking to save some money here tonight, I do like Ilya Sorokin. He has been a bit up and down this year, kind of a boom-bust type of play. I do prefer him in tournaments, but I think he's cash game viable as well at this price tonight in the low 7K range. You can see in his last 10 games there, he is just 3-4-3, but he's got a save percentage of .913, goals allowed average of 2.89, averaging 13.5 Draftkings points per game. And as always, going to wrap up the Draftkings plays here with 3 low-priced options or sub-4K forward plays. First guy that I got is Ivan Barbashev of the Vegas Golden Knights, currently priced at $3,900, playing up on the first line and #2 power play for Vegas. He's got 2 goals, 9 assists, 11 points here in his last 10 games, averaging close to 9.5 Draftkings points per game. The next guy I got then is Andre Palat of the New Jersey Devils, really in a similar situation to Ivan Barbashev, where he's playing up on their first line and #2 power play, priced at $3,600 here tonight. He's played well as of late, with 3 goals, 5 assists, 8 points in his last 10 games, averaging 9.5 Draftkings points per game. And then the last guy that I got there is Niles Höglander of the Vancouver Canucks, and just like Barbashev and Palat, this guy's currently playing up on the first line and #2 power play. Trended well for him as of late, with 3 goals, 2 assists, 6 points in his last 10 games. As long as he's playing with Pettersson up on that first line, I think he's offering some nice value here in the 3K range. And then to wrap up this video, and really for the first time all year, I'm bringing back some NHL PrizePicks. As most of you know, I live in Colorado here, and they basically took that away from us for the longest time this season. And even though I still can't bet on them like most people can, I'm at least getting a visual board now. They didn't give that to me really the first half of this NHL season, so I figured I'd bring it back. But the one thing I do want to mention is I have no guarantees as to where this is going to go in Colorado going forward. So I'll write out the PrizePicks here while I can, but if they take that away from me again, that's just the way that it's going to roll. So for today, I got 2 picks that I like, both at an even 2 2.0 shots on goal. First being Shane Pinto of the Ottawa Senators, currently playing on their third line and number 1 power play. You can see he's trended well here in his last 5 games, hitting this number in 4 of his last 5, and I love the shot attempts there as well. And being that Florida takes quite a few penalties, we should see the Sens on the power play tonight. Pinto should thrive there. The other guy then is Sean Monahan of the Winnipeg Jets, also at 2.0. We're going to take the over on both these guys. You can see the shots on goal there. He's hit this number in 4 of his last 5. Shot attempts have been there as well, playing on the second line in number 1 power play. Now, for those of you who have not signed up for PrizePicks yet, you can see my code at the bottom. Use that code GRIFF, GRIFF, and PrizePicks will give you all the way up to a $100 match deposit. Alright everyone, that is going to wrap up this video here for today. As always, thank y'all for taking the time out of your day to watch the content here on this channel. If you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. Let's have ourselves a great day here, folks. Let's win some money on this 8-game slate. And in the meantime, I'm out of here.